So even going through doorways, we can make it a little bit more calmer, asking him to wait before we go through. So if he pops up, just ask him to do a sit again. Wait. So he's not rushing through. Wait. We won't get to the point of the door being all the way open, but we can at least make it so that even if he sees a door slightly open, he's not going to be bursting through. So this is a little dance. He sits down or lays down, I open up the door a little bit more. Eventually I will say the word that releases him. Wait means wait to be released. Stay means stay right there and I'll be back to you. So I prefer to use the word wait. Free. Once he goes through a threshold, we can wait for that check back in rather than just letting him go running where he wants to go running. So the moment, good boy. Come here, handsome. Yeah, you. Hi. Those little check-ins. There we go. Get rewarded. If he ends up yanking and pulling, we just wait. This is if you have the time to do this training when you're going out for walks. If you can, the more you do it, the better he'll become later on, rather than just like yanking and pulling you. So the way I also have him attached right now, it's that the leash, because I don't have a harness that fits him right now, is attached to his collar. The leash wraps around his torso, and then right around the area where it wraps and meets, it then just gets tucked under and then back to you. So this would help take away some of the strain off of his neck. Good boy. So letting him pull, and yank, and go wherever he wants to go, he will just learn that if he pulls and yanks, he will eventually get to where he wants to go. If he yanks and pulls and doesn't go anywhere, he will start to look for other behaviors like check-ins. Good boy. I'm not looking for a sit. I'm just looking for attention back to me. We're using his kibble. Any check back ins, even without me saying his name or anything like that, I'm going to be rewarding. Later when we're going to be walking, I'm just going to be managing him, of keeping him next to me. If I get to a point where the leash becomes loose like this, that's when he earns a reward. If it's tight, all we do is just manage him of keeping him. If it's tight like this, then all we do is we keep him by our side at, if you can see, about this much leash from my hand. My other hand is actually holding the leash forever. So the opposite hand that he's on will hold the leash. The leash will go across your body. The opposite hand, the hand that he is going to be on the side of, will, as you can see, this hand now tugs him back. Not yanks, but tugs him along. I don't want yank, I just want a steady pull of pressure. And this arm giving him about this much lead, so he doesn't need a lot. Once you get to an area where you want him to have freedom and bathroom, then you'll say something like, all right, go sniff. And he can have all of this area, and your right hand can hold the leash, and he can go around and sniff and potty and do the things that he wants to go and do. But when you're walking from one point to another point, Charlie, over here. Good boy. Come here, handsome. That's my man. When you're walking with him, have him. I also want to show you this one move. When he is out there, you're going to ask him to come back to you and kind of do a J turn with your hand. Charlie, over here. So, and then the hook of the J gets him back into position of being by your side. And then You get the leash a little bit closer to your body. So again, about this far. And when you're walking, you're just managing him. He's pulling right now. And my arm is just pulling him back. You're not going to have all the time in the day to just wait him out. You're going to need to get to position A, to position B, to position C. So those points, this hand just gives him this much leash, never allowing him to go too far onto the grass. When you are going to be walking on the sidewalk, you are going to be offset. So as you can see, middle of the sidewalk is where he will be, off to the side. He doesn't ever have enough leash to go to the grass, because the grass is the distractions. So from here we would just walk, and I would just keep my arm pulling him back if he's really tugging forward. If he tries to go across my body, this is why good boy. He earns the treats. You're there. So if he tries to go behind me or across my body, this is where I have enough of the leash that I don't allow him to go into my feet, right? So this is why I would have him off to my side. He does things automatically without me asking him, like sitting, then I can give him a treat. So we'll just walk back this way. Let's go. Good boy. When the leash is loose like this, then good boy, he can earn a treat. And the treat just comes right to him. Charlie. He needs to smell that. So if the leash is loose, that's when he earns the treat. If he sits down when you're just standing around, he earns a treat. When he lays down next to you, he earns a treat. And the treat is always going, he's like, wants to smell the smell. Come here, buddy. You can see that smell is even more interesting than the treat, which is his kibble. So if you bring out better treats, like chicken and things like that, you can see again, too. I want to give him a treat where I want him to be, which would be right next to me. This is where, as you can see, his paws and my feet meet. His shoulder blades would be parallel to my legs. So I'm feeding in front of my toes. If I want his head to be where my feet are, I would be feeding him further back. But I'm always feeding within this very close, there you go, sorry. I'm always feeding with close to me, not out to him. So he's always within a bubble. So again, we're walking and he's pulling. So all I'm doing is managing him so that he's staying within a certain bubble and not crossing in front of my feet. Good boy. Yeah, right here. So I have him catch up to me and feed him where I want his body position to be. Always very close to my legs. Not out like this, but where he is very close to me. Then my hand comes back to the leash. It's a very long leash, so you can go with a shorter leash so you don't have so much extra to work with. But when it's loose like this, good boy, that hand can drop the leash. Hopefully it's still swinging in the air, so it's that short. And you go back to walking. You give him a treat, and you go right back to, yeah, we can go in the shade, buddy. Give him a treat right by, yeah, I know. So if he hears dogs barking, he gets a treat, so he's not responding to those dogs. So you're preempting him to be a very good boy in the future. So where he chooses to hang out with you rather than respond to the dogs. So I want him to hear dogs barking in backyards and houses and choosing. Little J-turn. Tuck him back in towards his butt towards me. Pull up a little bit. He'll go into a sit. There you go. He's sitting next to you. If he pulls around like this, there's just a lot of practice where he's had sitting in front of you, right? So he thinks this is a great position to be. If we want to practice him sitting next to us, we just do that little J turn, pull up on the treat a little bit, and you're handsome. Pull up on the treat so he looks up, sit, and there he goes. Not completely right next to me, but as we keep practicing this, sit, he'll get closer and closer, sit, and when you come to a stop or you start talking to somebody and he goes into a natural sit next to you, you can give him a reward. But if you just ask him, Charlie, come here, sit, he's going to naturally sit in front of you. So he needs practice. Charlie, come here. Where he follows a treat. Charlie, let's go. He follows it. It goes past your leg, J hook, then he's next to you. You can give him a treat for just standing or sit. You see, he wants to keep kicking out to be in front of you. So he's like 45 degrees kicked out rather than right next to me. That's if you want to practice sits before crossing streets or sits when greeting people. And so if you were to come up to a person, you can ask him to sit next to you. When he sits next to you, then, or even lays, I didn't ask him to lay down, but I want to reward this laying down behavior because it's calm. Then we can say, okay, let's go say hi. And on my terms, like let's go say hi, is a phrase I use. That's when we usher him over to meet the next person. He goes. We'll go for a little walk, see how he does. Wanted to give you a couple of those tips and show you how that looks. We'll go a little prairie next to us, see how he does. But right now, all I'm doing is managing him. He's pulling, but he's not getting exactly to where he wants to go because, again, he's always within 3 feet. I'm not allowing him to get to the grass. I'm not allowing him to go and smell the things he wants to smell. This is just all management. It's going to go hand in hand with the training when he earns it. Otherwise, he's in the middle of the sidewalk being managed. Because what's going on here is extinction. It's going to be easier and less distracting for him with more cement than less. So, really distracting here because we got so much wildlife and smells going on. But again, I'm keeping him in the middle. He hasn't earned the treat yet. He's just pulling. This is why I also would prefer him in a harness to take away that like raspy breathing. There, he's earning a little bit. When you see that tight leash become loose like this, then you can start to count like maybe 5 steps. And if he gives you 5 steps of a loose leash, then he earns a reward. But right now what's going on is extinction. You go through this process of just keeping him within, 2 feet, 3 feet of you, and he's going to try and pull and try and pull and try and pull and try and pull. And this arm is moving him back if he needs to be moved back. It's moving him closer if he needs to be moved closer. That's what the hand here is. The job is performing. Sorry, I'm just getting attacked by mosquitoes now. Then, okay, I gotta get out of here. There's so many of you guys. Okay. Side that he's on is a leash hand and also the treat hand. You could either go like that or you can drop the leash entirely and go in here. I have like 5 mosquitoes on me, so we're getting out of here. This hand goes back too, so this is way too much leash. Just gotta climb to him. I don't need to pull him. Just gotta get to him and then we can walk again. Yeah, not too much leash that he gets access to the dirt. So you want to make sure he's far away enough, and then he's just got to pull you. He's going to yank you, he's going to do all these things, but most importantly, he doesn't get to where he wants to go. We're just, I'm big train teaching the little baby train how to stay on the tracks. And we don't zigzag around the tracks. We're a train, we stay on the tracks, we go from point A to point B, maybe at point B. I would say, when he stops, all right, go sniff. Right, now you can, yeah, over here. What's over here? What's this and what's this? When you say go sniff or off, basically it's off duty time. When you go and say off sniff and he's touching grass, that's when he can go wherever he wants to go, pull you where he wants to pull you. Charlie, what about this way? He's walking you. This is the opportunity to, potty and things like that. When he's touching grass. Otherwise, you say, Charlie, let's go. And he starts touching cement, sidewalk. Good man. That means you need to stay within 2-3 feet of me and you'll get rewards. Alright, so let's go. So again, my hand, all it's doing is managing him from getting to the destination, like the grass, where he wants to go. So he's just learning that if I pull, I don't eventually get to where I want to go. We do go forward, but we don't go and smell that thing and smell that thing and smell that thing and touch that thing and put that thing in our mouths. Again, he's in the middle of the sidewalk. Not enough leash to touch the grass or even smell the grass. He will eventually give up and start walking next to you. Once he starts walking next to you on a loose leash, and this leash becomes loose, then you can start talking to him and say, hey Charlie, such a good boy, such a good man. You give me 5 steps, you get a treat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good boy. You get a treat. You can talk to him. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he starts to pull. Oh, he missed that treat opportunity. We go right back to just holding the leash. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good boy, Charlie. So I'll start to count, up to 5 human steps. And if you walk like that on a loose leash, I will give you rewards. If you pull on the 4th step, well, okay, we'll restart the count if you make it loose again. Otherwise, I'm just managing you. I'm ready to go back and play with your buddies. And things like this. If he offers you sits, downs, things along those lines, this is what we reward. I'm not going to give him a treat, but I am going to give him access to, all right, let's go inside, to where he wants to go, to where he wants to be, outside of the house. Let's say hello to your friends, things along those lines, right? So you get a dog that ends up saying please to you by sits and things like that. Tired. It's a tired puppy. It's a hot day. I know. We need to stay in the shade. Okay, let's go inside. So rather than scratching at the gate, you give me a sit, you give me a down, things like that. Where you can see this little lady is just whine. Alright, you want to go say hello to your buddies? Same thing with this guy, right? Jump. Like, I can open up the gate, and then that'll just reward that. But you can see, either Magic's going to correct him. Magic! There you go. Now he's sitting down. Everybody, I know you're sitting down too. I know. He's a helper. You tell him. So again, if he sits down, that's when I can open up the gate for them. Open up the gate for Duncan. Open up the gate for, Charlie over here. Hi, buddy. You ready to go in? You want another one? Now, how do you get this treat? What do you need to do for me? There you go. So he jumps up, I pause, without even telling him anything. And now he can say hello, right? So it's those types of back and forths that you go ahead and do with your dog through doorways, things that they want, and without even having told them what to do, they start to perform default behaviors like sits and downs. Duncan, Charlie. Charlie's exploring the area that he hasn't been up there yet. Where'd you go, Charlie? Oh, it's the water. Good water break. Yeah, especially on these hot days. Just remember. Water's key. If you go for long walks, bring some water with you.